Okay, so this is going to be a little bit different from what I normally do. Um, I'm not normally a news guy. So having said that, I don't know if you guys have read the recent Facebook posts by Nicki from Honeycomb Aeronautical, but he just posted it about an hour ago. It's a very long post. And he's kind of going into some details that I don't think have been released so far. But this kind of goes back to some of the delays with Charlie, delays with refunds and repairs, and it's a remarkable email here. Let me kind of set this up here. I'm just trying to be able to see a few things here. So, okay. So basically, if you go to Facebook to the Honeycomb Aeronautical, he lists it. But just to kind of recap what he says, he goes very in depth and he goes into the history of the company and he goes all the way back. I want to say to 2012. And he used to work for SciTech. Nicki used to work for SciTech. I did have the opportunity to meet him during the last Flight Sim Expo. I can't say I spent a whole lot of time talking to him, but he had a great booth and he had some items that I did a review on or an initial impression on. He's a very high energy guy. He had a lot of people around him the whole time that I was there looking at his at the gear that he had set up, and he just had a lot of stuff to say. And it was very interesting just to kind of be in the crowd and listen to him speak. But he just put this up today, and basically what he does is he talks about the history and he goes back to 2012 and about how he has these ideas and he wants to put this Honeycomb Aeronautical plane into effect, but doesn't quite have enough backing to do it. So he states that he takes on a partner, a business partner, and this partner, from what he makes it sound like, has access to financial backing, maybe even some manufacturing and distribution. It's a really long post, and it's very convoluted and very detailed. So, but basically, he talks about this person who apparently was a friend of his, and he eventually approaches him at one point, and they are unable to. His friend is unable to help him out, but he basically eventually comes through for him. And the first thing that he says, it's just very kind of, remarkably, I mean, clueless is a really strong word. Naive would maybe be better. But he basically makes it sound like he entered into an arrangement with this guy. And when the dust had settled, this other person had like 100% of. It's not clear to me if he is saying control, but what he says was, I discovered that it was done so, and done so meaning the paperwork, the formalization of this company was done so with 100% ownership under the corporate umbrella of my business partner. So what it makes it sound like to me is that this business partner has, maybe multiple companies. Again, he'd mentioned financial backing, manufacturing, and distribution. So maybe this guy has a corporate kind of structure, and an umbrella usually implies there's a go-to company that's a corporation that's on the top, and then under that are other either different companies, but they all kind of report to this one corporation. So he makes it sound like this guy basically has 100% control over a lot. And so, and the surprising part about this to me is he makes it sound like, in the tone of this very long email or post that he put on Facebook, he makes it sound like he was unaware, like it caught him off guard. And right off the bat, that makes me, that's kind of odd that you wouldn't know that. So it's already kind of, I mean, I'm not saying anything illegal was done, but it just seems like he didn't go into this eyes wide open. He didn't do his due diligence to look at what was going on with this partner. And I don't believe, now I may have missed it, and if I did, I apologize. I don't think he ever names this individual by name or identifies this person, but he mentions this person over and over again as my partner. And basically what he says is, in the initial phase of the company, and this kind of makes sense, Nicki's focus was just clearly on the development of the products, the design, coming up with the details, using that experience he had at SciTech and developing a product where he saw a need, where maybe some of the other lower end stuff was kind of too cheesy and toy like, and that's my words, not his. And then you go a little bit higher, and then it just jumps in price, and then all the gear is really kind of unaffordable, very high end gear. And it makes it sound like he identified this need, and he did. He really did. With the Alpha and the Bravo, this kind of intermediate, it's high quality stuff. I have an Alpha and a Bravo. I unfortunately, for the Alpha, I purchased, I don't remember where I purchased it from. The Bravo I purchased off of eBay at scalpers prices during the pandemic, and I paid double what I should have paid. I think I paid like $400 for it instead of the $250. But it's solid gear. It was worth $400. And so he comes up with this product line that, I mean, it's got to be one of the most popular flight sim hardware lines that's ever been. It's quality stuff. It had pretty decent software. It integrated well with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. It integrates very well with X-Plane. I think it does. I can't say I ever really had a whole lot of problems with it. To me, they've been basically durable products. I have read, where people have had difficulties and things that have broken and some things like that. But I would challenge you to find any product line by any manufacturer that doesn't have some problem with it along the lines. But here's the thing. So what do you do when you have a problem? Well, you send it in and get it fixed. Well, so, this guy's talking about that all of a sudden he's not able to get Charlie out. And Charlie, as you know, we're going to be the rudder pedals, the companion to the Alpha, the Bravo, then Charlie. And, pictures have been put out, all this stuff had come out about it was coming. Well, then it didn't show up. It was kind of like vaporware, and, and people had paid money and done pre-orders. And then all of a sudden, we get, I feel like he posted something on Facebook a number of months ago saying, sorry for the delay, mea culpa, I'm working on it, but, we'll that's my fault, we'll get stuff going. Well, it's still, it never happened. The product never really appeared. And, people again had put money down on this thing, had pre-orders. So then he goes on to say that he started getting communication from the factory, it sounds like in China, that's like, hold up, buddy, we're not making this thing because there's money that's owed. There's what's up with that? And again, I'm kind of paraphrasing and condensing some of this, but the tone of the letter makes it sound like Nicki was just caught completely off guard. And what are you talking about? And all this kind of stuff. And so he says he jumps on a plane, flies to China to find out that basically his partner, and again, I'm not saying his partner did anything illegal, but it doesn't sound like his partner was fully forthcoming with him. Or it's also possible that Nicki just was oblivious to things that he should have been keeping up with and did not. So I'm not assigning blame here. There's probably some blame to go around for a lot of people, but he basically kind of saying that at one point he confronted his business partner about the findings. I'm kind of reading here, and he was assured that it was just an accounting error, okay, and then promised to get the books in order. So, wow, when you say something like, I'll get the books in order, well, that implies that the books are not in order. And so, what the heck? If the books are not in order, what do you do with that? You know, he mentions that he has employees that are not getting paid, that they've got rent and food and all that kind of stuff. And so he says that he found out that his partner, Nicki, found out that instead of paying for the components required to manufacture the product, all the money received for the Charlie pre-orders had gone elsewhere. Wow. So if you were one of those folks that sent in money for the Charlie, I did not. Probably because I've got my Thrustmaster pendulum pedals, and I think they're the best thing since sliced bread. I've said before that they're probably one of the favorite parts of most accurate parts of my sim. So I didn't have a need for Charlie. If I hadn't had those, I could see that I may have been somebody that would have tried to check them out. I would have put some money down. But now he's saying all of the money, ALL, the money went to somewhere else. That is huge, huge. And so he made the mistake of agreeing to a limited pre-order campaign on the Charlies once the production schedule had been confirmed. However, when production was set to begin, I found out that instead of paying for the components, the money had gone elsewhere. And this situation, I don't know if he's saying when he found out, but basically he mentions it escalated in July 2023. Well, holy crap, July 2023 is a long time ago. Why are we just hearing about this now in January? It's almost February, and that doesn't make any sense at all. So I'm sympathetic to Nicki on this, but at the same time, I would say the buck stops with him because he's the boss, but I don't know that he is the boss. If this other guy has 100% of something, so basically it sounds like what he tried to do was he negotiated some type of deal, and it looks like he's trying to get this partner out of the sales and distribution, and that he would handle everything himself in terms of the factory. So he would handle the factory partner directly. That's what he's saying. Again, I'm reading some of this directly from his post. And then it says, as part of the agreement, I was committing to help the factory recover the outstanding invoices by paying a significant premium on the existing stock. So he does mention in this post that when he was notified about that they wouldn't push forward on the Charlie, that they had they had a factory of Alpha and Bravo products just kind of sitting around that had been completed but not released, because it makes it sound like this factory was like, well, show me the money first. And so, and that he's going to have to come up with extra money to make this happen. Okay, so here's my thoughts on that. Extra money, where's the extra money going to come from if you're telling us that all the pre-order stuff where did that money go? And so now you're going to have to come up with extra money to make it happen, which seems to me that you're already saying you're operating in a deficit. So that's kind of shady, shifty, strong words, but honestly, I kind of feel like that it is. So then it goes on to say, he multiple times throughout the email, he says, I accept responsibility, and he can't expect anyone else to take this blame or burden. And he apologizes multiple times. But he also then goes on to say that you may be better off canceling your order and then reordering the Charlie. But then he also goes on to say that you may have to dispute the charges with your credit card company. So what it sounds like he's asking his people to do, and I don't know. It seems again like he's saying, well, you're not going to get it with your current order, that I've already got your money and I don't know where the money is, or I believe that's what he's saying. And then, but you can cancel it and dispute the charge with your credit card company. As what? Dispute as what? A fraudulent charge? What are you going to tell the credit card company? Hey, the boss of this company is saying, I'm not going to get what I paid for, so he wants me to dispute the charge so I can turn around and order it again. That's a big, big ask. I just, you know what I mean? Does that make sense to you guys? Would you do that if you had money that you'd put? I don't know what they were going for. Let's just say in the neighborhood of $200-300. I honestly don't know what they were going for, but if you just got told you're not going to get it, you're going to have to cancel. You're going to have to dispute the charge, but I'd really appreciate it if after you did all that, if you would turn around and reorder it. Now he does say reorder it from a like a third party. I'm assuming he means like, like when Sporties and other places carry Honeycomb products, that you would turn around and buy it from them because what? They're more reputable, which Sporties is very reputable. I love Sporties. But why would you do that? Why is Sporties going to magically be able to get it if you can't? So I'm not sure, what that's about. He also goes on to say that there's been this faulty process of returns through Shopify, not Spotify, Shopify, which apparently was set up in Hong Kong, which was owned by not Shopify itself, but the shop in Shopify was owned by this former business partner. And I don't think he ever names this individual, but again, and then he goes on to say that this person has reached an agreement that he will sell his assets in Honeycomb if Nicki can find a new partner to buy him out. Which, okay, so I mean that's somewhat encouraging in the sense that if somebody could come in and put in money and kind of knew what they were doing, they could say, hey, I'll buy this guy out and we'll get restarted, because I still feel like the Honeycomb products, the two that I have, are good stuff. It's good stuff. I don't think, all this convoluted financial stuff aside, which is probably what Nicki said, right? But I don't think you can find anything better for the dollar. I really don't. I think that the Honeycomb products also are responsible. You think about the timing when they kind of blew up right around Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, not too long before X-Plane 12. So all of these new flight sim platforms are popping up. And it was just good timing, and then you couldn't get them. Part of that was pandemic, but it sounds like part of it was also just a complete disconnect between Nicki and this business financial partner that doesn't sound like much of a partner. Then he goes on to say, and this part is where, so I've been reading there's a lot of comments already on this post on Facebook, and people are not kind. They are not holding back. There's the all caps, you suck and all this kind of stuff. But basically he says, I wish I'd gone out earlier and told everyone what was going on. Yeah, that would have been a good call on your part, to be transparent and say, get this stuff out here. And then I think because the purchases could have been made with informed consent. And I'll give you an example, and some of you will know what I'm talking about, and some of you may not. I also do racing simulation stuff, and there is a big company in the racing sim world that just is imploding as we speak. They're not keeping up with their orders. They had released a piece of gear, or they said they were going to release a piece of gear that they took pre-orders on, that they said was going to end up being PlayStation compliant. Well, they nope, it's not, and you can't communicate with them, and it's a nightmare. But this kind of seems like that. So now, if you were in the racing sim world, if you were to go and think to yourself, oh gosh, I'd like to buy that piece of equipment, then you would know in advance. But I'm taking a big risk because this is out there in the racing. It's a big deal. Everybody knows about it. Well, yeah, Nicki, if you had put this all out there and said, "Hey, it's falling apart. I got this guy, and I don't like what he's doing, and there's been some communication issues." That's what I'm gonna call them, is communication issues. And with that in mind, buy at your own risk. So now you can go, oh, hey, maybe I'm not going to give anybody my credit card number and buy something that may not think. So yeah, I if he had gone out earlier and told everyone what was going on, then yeah, that would have been the way to go. He mentions that there's some lessons to be learned from this, and I hope, Nicki, I hope that you are learning these lessons. He says he feels terrible, and he mentions that he is, proud of what he's done, and he still wants to move forward. He still has things that he wants to make, and I wish him nothing but the best, and I hope they recover, because I don't think, at least right now, I don't think there's anybody waiting to jump in at that price point with that level of quality. He does go on to say that he understands everybody's frustration, and that he, but he has to look out for his employees. He mentions that. He flat out says, I know I'm supposed to say the customer comes first, but I have to take care of my employees. I guess I can respect that. I do respect that. And I hope if there are employees out there that are not getting paid, I wish them luck. And so anyway, and then if I pull up the comments, that they've doubled since the last time this announcement just came out like an hour ago. And so again, it's just people being confused. It's a lot of people are not reading the post because it's so long. And some people are very supportive and wish him luck, but then there's also some people that are like, again, all caps, you suck, you lied to us, that kind of stuff. Don't trust this company. And I understand where that comes from. It's sad to say, but there would be a trust issue. I would not. So they have some products that they announced at last year's Flight Sim Expo over the summer, and it's the external displays where it's got kind of this combined usage with Air Manager, which is a product that I'm absolutely in love with. And I'm not. I people don't send me free stuff, and I don't ask people. I don't ask people to send me free stuff, and I'm not. I would be very hesitant to fork out my money. Honestly, until this was like an established thing, and I could go to Sporties or the like, see that it's in stock, and buy it. And that's what it would take for me to purchase anything from them. This just seems like a big breach of trust. And even as I'm looking at this, I just happened to scroll down, and the previous message from him on the same page, on his same Facebook page, is dated October 18th, 2023, where basically it's sorry about the delay. We're still here, working diligently. And I can't, from the most recent post, he says he knew about this in July, before October. So Nicki, my goodness, man, you should have come clean at least in October. If it took you a month or two to get your head around it, then that's one thing. But I'm just wondering how many people have made orders. There are people that are saying also they sent out some repair work and they don't know where their gear is, where they've sent stuff in. So, you know, it just seems frustrating. And I hope again that he gets it together. So again, if you have any thoughts, by all means, put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. I will leave this at, I think some mistakes were made. I think we were not told the whole truth. I'm not going to say anybody was dishonest, but we weren't, information was kept back. And I guess in the big business world, you know, companies live and die based on information that's released to the public. So it's real easy for me to armchair quarterback and say, yeah, you should have, would have, could have. But I do think that some opportunities were lost for Honeycomb to be, upfront and honest with the people who are very passionate about their equipment, who have supported them, who stuck by them through the pandemic. And like I said, I'm one of those ones that paid scalping pricing for the Bravo. Like I said, I paid like $400 for off of eBay. But it was, the Alpha was such an impressive product. And I think that the Bravo is an amazing product. I like it better than the Alpha. It just opens up so many, you can emulate so many airplane types with the Alpha. It's just a quality piece of kit, no doubt about it. And so I'm hoping that, things will get better, and and that Nicki will come through, and they'll find somebody to give him that boost that it sounds like he needs. But it also sounds like, Nicki, you need to keep your eyes open and maybe be a little more involved in the business side. I get the whole left brain, right brain, creative, and all that kind of stuff, but you gotta pay attention to the details, buddy. So anyway, if I find out something different or new, I'll put it up. I'm not much of a news person per se, but this just was an interesting thing, and I'm a huge fan of the gear, and my first 4 or 5 iterations of my flight sim were built around it. So I'd like, no, I have to say something. So in any case, I hope that you guys are having a good day. Stay safe, and I'll catch you around.